Yo, 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 what's going on? What's going on? Welcome to another episode of Empire Jeff TV. I am your host, Empire Jeff, coming to you on a Monday night from Los Angeles, California. Hope everyone's doing well. Hope everyone had a great weekend. Hope y'all had a good start to your week, man. And we're here to talk some Lakers basketball tonight. We got the MLB trade deadline tomorrow. So I'll be talking some MLB and the Dodgers tomorrow. People have been hitting me up about the Dodgers. Going to do that tomorrow. But people have been hitting me up all day about this Jerami Grant thing. I wasn't even going to do a video on this. I wasn't even going to do a video at all today. But I got a lot of people reaching out today asking about this trade rumor that hit today. To me, it's kind of an old one, kind of resurfaced. But it picked up enough traction today that, I've kind of haven't been doing the nightly thing of talking the same stuff over and over and over, even though nothing's happening. But this one feels like it might have some legs now. Doesn't guarantee a deal is going to happen. But like I said, it feels like it's got some legs now. And by saying that, I mean, it feels like maybe Portland might be backing off of that price tag, which we probably thought was going to happen. I don't think there was a world we lived in where any team was going to give up 2 first-round picks, 2 unprotected first-round picks for a Jerami Grant. I don't think that was ever a possibility. And I think at some point they were going to come off of that kind of ridiculous asking price. And that might be now. And doesn't mean this deal is going to happen. It doesn't mean that they're still not asking more than what the Lakers would like to give. But maybe they've come off of those 2 first-round picks as a starter. And maybe conversations are ongoing. So I have no intel on this. I have nothing on this other than just kind of hearing it work the realm, of the NBA world and circles the last handful of days. Zach Lowe of ESPN kind of already floated something out there basically saying, should we just already make the jersey already? He seems to think it's happening. There's a lot of people in the media who think that if the Lakers do make a move, this is the likely one. But there's still a lot of concerns with this deal. If this is the deal that the Lakers are going to do, this is not a game changer. This is not a massive needle mover. This is it's good in some ways. It's bad in some others. So we're going to touch on all that. And, there's a couple different rumors out there. Portland having zero interest in D'Lo. There's interest out there that, that Orlando still has some interest in D'Lo. And so, the Lakers are clearly sitting back and waiting for some of these prices to come down. And like I said, when you're sitting here at the back end of July, last couple of days of July, when you're coming up on the Major League Baseball trade deadline and you're still kind of looking to make your first new addition transaction outside of the draft. I know we re-signed LeBron. I know D'Lo opted in. They drafted Knack. They drafted Bronny. They re-signed Max Christie. There's been movement per se, right? But there's been no addition. So sitting here, like I said, the day before the MLB trade deadline, and you've yet to make your kind of free agency / trade splash of your offseason is typically not a good sign for a GM, a president, or your basketball team. So that's where the Lakers find themselves. Rob Pelinka over the fire, obviously. Jeannie Buss over the fire, obviously. And, deservingly so from the standpoint of they've given the people nothing when they talked about they had 3 first-round picks to move. So they kind of stepped in it by doing that. I understand that just because you have 3 first-round picks doesn't mean you spend it on nonsense. So I do appreciate that they're not just giving it away to do it. I do appreciate that they're not going to give up 2 first-round picks for Jerami Grant because that would be horrendous. I'm not even someone that would give up 1 first-round pick for Jerami Grant. I wouldn't do it. Like I said, that is not a good contract. There's 4 years left. He's 30 years old. 2 years from now or a year and a half now or a year or 2 from now when Braun is done, it's not going to be necessarily easy to get off of that contract at that point when he's 2 years older. True, that salary won't look as ugly 2 years from now when the cap is going up a lot. That's a fact. But if you have to give up a first-round pick to get him and then potentially a first-round pick to get off of him, then it's like you're giving 2 first-round picks to get him initially, right? So to me, you have to think about that. And that's why I would not give up a first-round pick for him, because in the event of you have to give up something to get off of him, I'd rather spend it then than now. So that's just my opinion on it. Shout out to everyone on Twitter, man. I see a bunch of y'all pulling up early here. YouTube still pulling in. So appreciate y'all for tuning in up here early. Yeah, man, this is a deal that has been talked about for a while, rumored for a while. kind of went quiet, right? Hadn't, it's been linked there, but we kind of knew the asking price. Portland wanted 2 picks. Lakers essentially said, look, we're not having any conversations on this until these demands drop, because that's just ridiculous. Seems like that's starting to happen now. So they probably went from, okay, instead of 2 picks, we'll take 1. Now there's dialogue, and I'm assuming the Lakers want to get this deal done without any picks. So, but it does sound like maybe some talks are out there again. But like I said, even if this deal gets done, if this deal gets done tonight, this deal gets done tomorrow, sometime this week, this still does not solve all of the Lakers' problems, because Jerami Grant is not a very good 3-and-D wing. He's an okay-ish defender. He's not a good to great defender. He is technically a worse rebounder than Rui. And so Rui's issues are his defense and his rebounding. And that's kind of what you're getting with Jerami Grant. But Jerami Grant, again, is more of a bucket than Rui. He's got a bigger bag offensively. So you'd be trading for an upgrade offensively, but kind of a break even on the defense and the rebounding for Jerami Grant. So, then you got also Jerami Grant, who's been kind of eating first on his last couple of teams. Outside of when Dame was playing in Portland in the games that he played, he's getting high level touches, high usage, high shots. And coming here to the Lakers, that's going to go all the way down. It's going to go down to the 3rd, 4th, option there. So this always has to be something you think about. And that's why I've always been kind of like, when you're getting that 3rd guy, this always seems to be the Lakers' problem, is that 3rd guy. Because having someone like D'Lo, having someone like Austin, having someone like Rui, someone like Vando, someone like a Gabe Vincent, someone like a Max Christie, a Connect, all these guys. These guys, most of them don't even start in the 4th best player on a team category, right? Trying to make any of these guys be your 3rd best player on a team seems to be always the Lakers' problem. The Lakers' problem is finding that 3rd guy, right? Jerami Grant, to me, is not that 3rd guy. He's still not the answer of solving that 3rd guy problem. So you get Jerami Grant if this deal goes down, right? But you still don't solve your problem. He's not a difference-making big. He's not a 3-and-D wing. He's not a point-of-attack defender at the guard position. So these are still issues that you're going to still have with your team, and you're taking in $30 million to be a guy, to be your 3rd option, who's not really a 3rd option, and you still got your problems. So I just want to, I understand everyone out there just wants a trade for the sake of having a trade. I understand this. But there are still going to be holes and issues on this team, which is why getting Jerami Grant without surrendering any 1st-round picks is very essential. And I think the Lakers realize that. I think that's why they're trying to hold out for that. But if they're going to sit up here and try to get Jerami Grant, and if they can come out of this without giving up a 1st-round pick and then still have multiple 1st-round picks to use to then go better the team again, maybe you then find a team that'll take, okay, D'Lo, another piece, and those 2 picks. If you got someone like Jerami Grant, if you've got someone there that could get buckets, guy that's capable of giving you 30 in a night when AD or Braun are off, or take the night off, that I do like. But he's not a problem solver. He doesn't just show up and put a Band-Aid on the fact that the Lakers don't have a bruising big or point of attack defender at the guard position. He doesn't change any of that. So having said that, those are the concerns the Lakers are going to continue to have, even in the event of they trade for Jerami Grant. So, but like I said, if they can get him without giving up those 1st-round picks, then you can still go shopping. Then you got things you could still do. And then I would really like that deal from the standpoint of, I wouldn't like the money. Don't like the fact that he's 30, 4 years left on that deal. And that deal has potential to be undesirable later. I don't love it, but I could learn to live with it if I know the Lakers come out of this with all their picks still. And like I said, still have some capital there to go shopping for other pieces that they need to improve this team. So I'm curious to see what you guys think. Like I said, I wasn't even going to do this video today, but this rumor kind of took off a little bit to the point where, like, I got probably, it's funny, I got hit up more about this rumor today than all the, the moves the Dodgers made, which I was surprised by, because, Laker fans are pretty needy for some movement here, and I understand it. So they're, they're just sitting back, just kind of just waiting for anything to kind of happen with this team. And so this, like, again, I said, this one kind of feels like it might have some legs. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. That's going to remain to be seen. But, in the event of this deal goes down, like I said, there's still a lot of issues that this team is facing and that this team has. So that's where I'm at with it. I don't hate the trade if it goes down, but I don't love the trade. I wouldn't mind it. Like I said, if they can escape it without giving up those picks and still have ability to improve this roster, because I do like this. If the framework is true that's been put out there of Rui, Gabe, and Cam for salary purposes, I do love the 3-for-1. I do like that. So that's one of the reasons why I like that trade. The 3-for-1 means it opens 2 additional roster spots. However, it doesn't mean the Lakers could readily use them immediately, because it could put them into that second apron if they go and even sign 1 minimum guy after this deal. So it's 3-for-1, so it makes the money work. But what that money brings back doesn't necessarily open you up enough to go fill those roster spots without getting into that second apron. So you probably have to dump someone else. So there probably has to be another move coming where you probably send out someone like a D'Lo at like 18 million, and then you bring in like 11 million back or 12 million back. It's really kind of how you're going to have to play that. So it's going to have to be some creativity there, some cap gymnastics and things like that to actually make that work. It is doable. It is possible, even for someone like Rob Pelinka, who a lot of Laker Nation don't have a lot of faith in right now. So it is doable. It is possible. But likely like that, I don't know. That I don't know. So that's asking a lot. A lot of things would have to go right for the Lakers for this to happen. Like I said, they'd have to get this deal done without giving up a first. It'd have to be the 3-for-1 package. They then have to get someone else to take some money off their books, with them getting someone back that they kind of like at about $6 to $7 million less than what they're sending out if it's D'Lo. That's asking for a lot of things to go right for the Lakers, and a lot of things don't always go right for the Lakers, man. So we'll see, man. We'll see. So shout out to everyone who's tuned in, man. Eric Quan, I see you, brother. He said, "What's up? What's going on with you, man? I hope you're having a good one. Appreciate you." We got Simba. We got Joe in the building. What's going on, Joe? Are you incognito here, another company name, huh? What's going on, man? Appreciate you. But yeah, I mean, technically it's still a thing. Like I said, if you listen to the whole thing I mentioned, it's definitely still a thing, strictly because there's not a lot of things still out there. There's not a lot of things that are really doable, to be quite honest. This is one of the things that is still possible. I don't know if I'd label it probable, but it's one of the things that is still possible. One of the things that the Lakers do have, the means to get done, but I don't know if this is necessarily a smart thing. We're going to have to wait and see on that. Eric says, I guess so. It has been ongoing, probably a third team. Yeah. So I think Portland wouldn't mind taking on someone like a Rui. They're getting Cam, back for a 1-year deal there, see what he can, do after a year last year he had. And then a vet like Gabe there to kind of replace what Brogdon was there, maybe flip him later on in the season as well. So they're like, they won't have a ton of issues unloading those pieces independently after that. A team would have interest in Rui. A team down the road, if Gabe is proven to be healthy, would have interest in him. And Cam is on a expiring deal. So it's not like they couldn't just up and get rid of those guys if they had to. So you get rid of, this is why I don't give up a pick for it, because you break that Jerami Grant contract up into 3 parts. And I feel that those 3 parts are movable. And especially if those guys play some minutes and play well, then you can then move those guys and potentially get some assets, probably more, maybe more than you could have got for Grant initially. So if you think about the long plan here, which if you study the transactions of this new Portland regime, that's kind of what they do. If you look at what they did in that Dame trade, they went and they got pieces and they flipped those pieces additionally, and got further assets for them. So I can see them doing that again in a Laker trade for Jerami Grant. So this is why I don't feel the Lakers would have to give up any picks for him, is because Portland can still extract value out of those other players down the road. I genuinely believe that. So this is why I think that Portland is really under no pressure to even really do this deal right now. The Lakers aren't under a ton of pressure as far as like a season starting tomorrow. Yeah, they've got fan pressure. They've got public pressure, but the Lakers don't really listen to that. So there's really nothing that they're sitting back like they're up against a deadline here or something, because they're not. So sitting back and, to them, whether they make this trade on July 30th or August 30th, it really doesn't matter to the Lakers if they get the deal they want. If the deal Portland calls today and says, look, we'll do this deal right now, no picks, let's get it done, I think the Lakers probably do it. If Portland calls and says, okay, look, we're giving up on the 2-pick thing, but we want 1. The Lakers are probably thinking, well, that offer is going to be available in a month. I don't think anyone's giving you a pick for him. So we'll wait it out. And maybe Portland folds in a couple of weeks. Maybe they don't. But that deal is probably going to still be there at some point. So the Lakers can always go back to that. So there's no reason. I don't know how many teams are in on Jerami Grant. Doesn't feel like a lot. So it feels like, you don't ever want to bid against yourself or negotiate against yourself. So sitting back and, especially if Utah does indeed move marketing, which I don't know if they're going to do. But if they do that, then that's another team using a bunch of assets to get him. So this is just going to be something. Oh, man, this Washington and Diamondback game is crazy in the ninth inning. But so these are things that can definitely, make the Lakers' hand even stronger. So I know this is not the popular take, and I know that this is not what many people are thinking. But I actually think what Rob is doing in this situation when it comes to Jerami Grant, I'm not talking about DeJounte Murray. I'm not talking about these other situations. I'm talking about purely the Jerami Grant, the Dorian Finney-Smiths, the Cam Johnsons of the world, those type of guys, the Bruce Browns, the Kesslers. These guys, I actually like his approach to not overpaying for these guys. Like I said, those other guys, that's a little bit of a different story. But these guys, there's no sense in overpaying because no one else is. No one else is overpaying to get Jerami Grant. There's no reason why the Lakers have to be the team to do so. So I actually agree with that type of move, man. Phoenix Layer 1, what's going on, brother? Hope you're having a good one. Appreciate you pulling up. Tamika, what's good with you? Appreciate you as always. Vegas Dev, what's up, my brother? Thank you for becoming a member and thank you for tuning in. I appreciate you, man. Salute, Jeff. Did Alchemist make that intro beat? That intro beat is fire, but no, that was not made by Al, man. That was not, but that's a fire beat on the intro. I love that joint. It's my favorite of all the intros I use. But man, shout out. Alchemist did get down on that. He did Big Sean's recent one. Yes, right. He did. Yes, didn't he? So shout out to Al, man. Venice Beach's own Alchemist, man. Shout out to Al. Shan, what's going on, bro? Shan says still doesn't solve the need starting point guard and a wing and a backup big. Yep. I touched on that. You're absolutely right. I 100% agree, without a doubt. So definitely agree with you on that. Let's see. Kiersey Barrington, what's going on, man? He said, I think we should do a 3-team deal with the Magic, Blazers, and Lakers. We get Grant and Wendell Carter. Now, see, that's kind of along the lines of what I was talking about when I said like the Lakers would then have to, let's say they do a deal. That package that brings you Jerami Grant for Rui, Gabe, and Cam Reddish, right? And then I said, okay, then you can flip D'Lo for someone about $6 or $7 million less. Well, that's Wendell Carter Jr., right? So let's pull up Orlando Magic just so I can get to the actual dollars and cents of it here. Let's get to that. So if you get to what Wendell Carter is making, he is at $11.9 million. So there it is. There is your $6 million less, roughly, for D'Lo. But let me actually, you know what? I think I'm getting D'Lo and need to get my numbers here. I think I'm getting D'Lo and Rui's number. Okay, there we go. Yeah, so 18.69. So about 18.7 for 12. So that is almost $7 million there. Okay, so that gets you. So let's say you make the move, even if you don't do a 3-teamer, even if you don't do a 3-team, 3 teams can be very difficult to pull off because then Orlando would have to get something from Portland and vice versa. Like they become a little difficult. So let's just say that they get Grant for Rui, Gabe, and Cam, and then they turn around and move D'Lo to Orlando for Carter Jr. That's something that's a deal that, like I said, that's a deal that I said, okay, if we get Grant for no picks, and then we go get a big with D'Lo's money and save a roughly $7 million to then open up those 2 roster spots with the money to spend on 2 minimums to not exceed the second apron. So that's the exact deal I was talking about. So good job, Sham. Good job. Good job, Kier. Sorry about that. But that's exactly the type of deal I'm talking about because that's really the only way it works. And now then you're sitting there with your 15 guys, right? But you've got a scoring wing. You've got a big, but now you've moved both your point guards. D'Lo's out of there, and so is Gabe. So this is now a concern, right? So again, now you're back to not being in a situation unless you could have gotten that you get a point guard at the minimum. But here's the thing. If that's all it took, then you probably could have done a deal where you already got that deal done and could have signed Tyus Jones for the minimum like Phoenix did. So which means that these teams are not ready to make these deals yet. Because had the Lakers been able to pull this off a week ago, maybe they get Tyus Jones because they can promise him a starting position. If you move D'Lo, move Gabe, you have the spot. Then there's a strong possibility the Lakers could have been in on Tyus Jones. That's a fact. So the fact that that didn't happen and those sequences of events didn't happen, well, then that can lead you to believe that these teams are not anywhere close on a deal yet. Because if they were, and the Lakers would have had a chance at someone like a Tyus Jones, then they probably get that deal done. But in this case, they really don't. So I don't believe these deals are close. And like I said, I don't think there's any rush for these deals to be close for almost all of these teams. They don't really have to right now. LA for life. What's up, brother? Sorry, I know this is a Laker topic. What you think about the Dodgers trades? Empire, much respect to you, my man. Hey, appreciate you. Hey, you know what? I feel like you know what? I'm looking around at what the Dodgers did. I'm a little perplexed at Dodger fans right now, man. I feel like Dodger fans are taking some of that Laker fan negativity, man. I just, you know what? I saw people calling, I don't remember who it was. I saw people calling the Dodgers cheap today, calling the Dodgers front office cheap and Guggenheim cheap today. I'm like, yo, these dudes just spent $1 billion in the offseason, man. I don't care about deferrals. They still committed to spend that money, right? So here's the thing. I'm going to get back to basketball because I got a full video on the Dodgers coming tomorrow. Here's the thing about the Dodgers. They committed $1 billion these offseason. The Dodgers, the best players the Dodgers can get post-deadline are already on their roster. They just need to come back healthy. They're essentially going to get a Mookie Betts back, a Yamamoto back. Like those two, like alone. I don't know if Max Muncy's coming back, right? Don't know necessarily what Walker Buehler will be or what Miller's gonna get, if he's gonna get his act together. Like I don't know about that, but you're getting Mookie and Yamamoto back. All right. So, like I said, if you're gonna sit here and people are gonna bash the Dodgers who spent $1 billion, that's wild to me. But I get it. As far as, you know, they want them to see them fill them holes in, but I like it. Like I like what they've done is kind of filling in and adding the depth to a team that has had those injuries, right? Filling in the depth and making things happen and getting things done because look, you got a utility guy to replace Taylor long term. A guy who can play center field, shortstop, second, third in a pinch. Like you got all of these. You've got a guy there that can go ahead and play multiple positions. Okay. So it is 1 second here. What is my computer doing? Hold on. And I think he's got 1 year left at like $9.5 million. So you get Edman and Kopech, right? So and Kopech could the Dodgers could get Kopech to just settle down on his, you know, outside stuff and throw less balls, more strikes. He's got lights out stuff. So he'll be able to strike some people out. And I think the Dodgers can work with him on that. And like I said, Edman can play multiple positions. So he's kind of like a better Kike, better Chris Taylor. So they needed to upgrade that. They did. And then getting Rosario back again, who they traded for at the last deadline, and get him again this deadline. He's batting like 307 this year, hitting great against lefties and righties. So, you know, they filled in some holes and added to that depth. And then when you get Mookie Betts back, when you get Freddie Freeman back, when you get Yamamoto back, when you get all these guys back, those guys are better than anyone you can get at the trade deadline. So the Dodgers have the horses. They got the big pieces. The depth is what they're going to need, and that's what they're adding. So I'm not mad at it, but I got some more Dodger coverage coming. Tomorrow I'm going to get back to basketball, but I appreciate the question. Wesley Green, he says, Lakers. What's going on, man? What's going on, my brother Chris? Shout out to you, man. The graphic god in the building. Appreciate you for tuning in, brother. Appreciate you as always, my guy. Dylan the Villain Brooks says, I think 1 first is enough for Jerami Grant. I don't think they should give up anything, bro. I don't think they should give up anything for Jerami Grant. I'm going to continue to say that for the simple fact that it's just no one else is really offering up that much for him. So why do the Lakers need to? Why do they need to? You know? So for me, I don't think that you need to bid against yourself. I don't think you need to offer up picks to people when no one else is offering that. And especially when these dudes wanted 2 picks, like they were big tripping on that. No one's giving up 2 picks for Jerami Grant. At least I don't think so. If they do, then man, shout out to Portland for making that work. But I don't necessarily think that one pick is worthy for Jerami Grant. Like I said, and if Portland gets it, shout out to them. But like I said, that contract is not a good contract. He's 30 years old. He doesn't rebound. He doesn't defend. If he rebounded and defended, and with that scoring ability, he probably wouldn't even be on a trade block. Teams would be lining up to get him. So the fact that he's available and no one is like tearing down the door to get him, there's no reason why you should overpay to get him. That's just me. Let's see. One first going to the team for Grant F. Portland. Yeah, no, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that. Definitely would not do that. LA for Life says Lakers are just going to run it back. And you know what? Oh God, we talked about this. You know what? I'm not 100% convinced of that, but I think there's a chance. I think they're not afraid to, and we can argue and debate whether that's the wise decision or not. That's a separate topic, but I'm not convinced that's what they're going to do. But I am convinced that they're strongly considering it and not terrified of it. I mean, in their mind, they're thinking like, look, we had a better team last year record-wise than 2 years ago with all them injuries. But Bron and AD playing damn near a whole season, man, I don't know if they could replicate that. That's the one thing. Like if you get, like I said, if you have potentially a healthy Rui, a healthy Vando, a healthy Gabe to start the season, stealing Knack there who can play some serious minutes, giving Max Christie some legitimate time out there. Like there's some things you can see that, okay, like if we had that last year, we would have been a better team. We would have had a better seed. We maybe would have advanced further. Coulda, shoulda, woulda. Is probably where they are thinking about it. However, the elephant in the room is even if all those things go right, if Vando, Rui, Gabe, all these guys are healthy out the gate and last the entire season, what are the odds that Bron and AD will after playing in the Olympics, after playing all those games last year? Like these are questions that not only us fans have to ask, but these are the questions that I'm sure is being discussed in that Lakers front office because it's a legitimate question. And it is a, oh man. Yo, this Washington Diamondbacks game, oh my God, that just ended in a walk-off. Holy. Sorry. But it's these are things that they have to strongly consider. And, you know, they're probably thinking like, look, we may need, you know, those picks. You know, if these guys come out and they're playing better, if Rui comes out and he's playing better, Gabe is playing better and healthy, and Vando's playing great, all this, then maybe this value goes up. You know, D'Lo comes out the gate, and we don't know what the system's going to look like. We don't know how these guys are going to play under JJ. They may be so happy to be playing under a new head coach that these guys may come out and start like 7-3, right? So if that's the case and they still want to make moves, now these guys got value. But then you're like, okay, do we want to mess with this chemistry now that's playing well? So it's you getting yourself in that situation where it's okay, they're playing better, so their value is higher, but now you don't want to rock the boat. Now you want to mess with what's working. And then you find yourself in that uncomfortable position. And that's where someone like Rob Pelinka may not be at his best when it comes down to deciding what to do in a situation like that. And it comes down to, you know, if you trust he can get that done. I know a lot of people do not trust Rob Pelinka. I am not as high on Rob as a Rob protector, but I'm not as low on Rob as a Rob basher. I think he needs to do something. He has to do something to put this team in position to win. LeBron potentially 1 or 2 last years left here. And, you know, AD's not getting any younger. So these are all things that are going to have to be taken into account here. And we just got to, you know, hope that they can figure that out. And Joe says, run it backwards. Front office is bad, man. If they run this back, LA for Life, if they go into this season with this exact roster, I think that would be a mistake, obviously, for the simple fact that unless they just truly believe, and I don't believe this, unless they truly believe that it was 100% Darvin Ham's fault and simply moving on from him will be enough, then maybe they feel good enough about it to do that. I don't believe that to be true. So I think that would be a mistake to go completely run it back. Like that would be a little foolish to me. So more than a little foolish to me, actually. So I still believe that something will happen. I don't know what. I don't know if it's just Jerami Grant. I don't know if it's a Bruce Brown. I don't know if it's a Kyle Kuzma. I don't know. Like, I don't know what it ends up being. I don't think anybody does. I don't even think the Lakers know yet. So in the event of that, like, but I still do think that something will happen. DJ, what's going on, my brother? Shout out to Lakers in 5, man. I got DJ over there. Make sure to go check out his channel. Great channel, great content. Salute you, my brother. I saw you just got to 10K subs. Absolute phenomenal work over there. The hardest working dude on YouTube right now, man. He's just pumping out just video after video after video. He's got himself a crew over there. They knocking things out. My man got a full-time job, works nights, got a family, no excuses, still gets out there, knocks it out, good content on the nightly. Make sure to go to pull up the Lakers in 5. Like I said, great guy, great content, great team over there, man. If you work tonight, DJ, drive safe, brother. Appreciate you tuning in. Make sure you guys pull up on Lakers in 5. Like I said, man, that channel is becoming its own network over there right now, man. So go to support them over there. They're doing great, great, great work over there. They're going to end up being one of these top tier Laker and basketball channels on YouTube before it's all said and done. I'm telling you, go check them out, man. Appreciate you, bro. Let's see, you guys. Wayne869. What's going on, man? Hey, Jeff, what if we get Grant and the Trailblazer center, Robert? I'm assuming you mean Robert Williams. That's a guy I've talked about for a while, too. But again, it's another one of those guys that has injury issues. But again, all these bigs that they potentially could go after would have injury issues and injury concerns. So you're going to have to take a risk on one of these guys. But Robert Williams seems to always have injury issues and always have injury concerns. So this is something that if you do make a trade for someone like him, you're going to have to really hope to the basketball gods that those knees hold up, because they have not the last couple of seasons. Now, I know one of them or a couple of them where he had that injury. He tried to come back too soon when he was with Boston and helped them on a playoff run, and he came back too soon. So he kind of re-aggravated the injury. So that's kind of part of it. So I understand that. And he hasn't kind of never really let that injury heal. So he's kind of been having issues with that injury nonstop. So, maybe having pretty much most of last season off, the entire off season, maybe he can come in healthy. But that's a guy I've talked about before. I like Robert Williams. I think he'd be a solid big, rim running, shot blocking big that can cover and switch out and even make life hell for. I don't want to call him Gobert, but he's Gobert-ish, to where, like I said, he can literally interfere and interact with and your defense, where he can make life hell on 2-3 guys at once. You got him and someone like AD out there that could really create havoc for a defense with his shot blocking and AD shot blocking. They're both switchability, their length. Their leaping ability. Like, that's something that I think in tandem with AD is could be something special. It's not perfect. He's not necessarily a joker stopper from the standpoint of a chest to chest guy, but if someone like Nas Reed or someone like these other guys can go at him. I know that I think it was Sham that was mentioning like another big out there that's not necessarily a true big, but can kind of do what Nas did. I think you could do that if that guy is capable of being a shot blocker. So if you got a shot blocker like Robert Williams and then a secondary shot blocker and someone like AD, because now you got to think about getting your shot blocked by the guy who's guarding you one-on-one, but then you got to worry about the roamer. And hell, even Braun can catch you blindsided, right? So I think something like that is a little bit better than someone like a Kuzma down there. Obviously, someone like a Rui, someone like a Jerami Grant, someone like even like a Vando. So I think that's better. But again, injuries. Is he going to stay healthy? And he is not yet proven to stay healthy. But the guy that I continue to think that could make an impact on this team, and I don't know his true availability, but Steven Adams is a guy out there, man. His money is perfect. The years left on his deal is perfect. Doesn't really going to have necessarily a big role in Houston with Sengun coming back. Playing their younger guys. Like I said, he is not, a stretch big in any stretch of the words, but he's a strong big, man. And we need one of those guys. And that's a name I think could find and carve out a role on this team. Tyrone, what's going on, my brother? You're begging for Simons now, huh? Simons is a bucket, man. He's definitely a bucket. Doesn't give you anything defense. That dude can definitely score the basketball. But he's paid. He got that deal a couple years ago. He's still relatively young, but like I said, he doesn't help our defense whatsoever. And that's one thing. And when it comes to guards, I think the Lakers really have to consider that defense, man. Major says, how is Grant a significant upgrade over Rui? And that's my point. That's kind of what I was talking about, is he's an upgrade offensively as far as he can do more things offensively. His bag is more than Rui offensively, but he doesn't defend or rebound, which is what Rui struggles with. So you're kind of getting a similar player, but he's more of a wing on offense than Rui is. But he can't necessarily guard the wings on defense. I think he's a little better. I think he's a better defender than Rui. I think he's got more of an offensive bag, but I think he's probably a worse rebounder than Rui, and Rui's rebounding is already bad. So, like I said, there's pros and cons. Like there's kind of layers there that you get with that. But it's Rui-ish, but not in a way. So I get it. I think he's probably a better fit on this team than Rui. It's not the same redundancy you have with Braun, AD, and Vando with Grant out there. But he still has some of those concerns that you have with having Rui out there. So it still has those concerns there. Let me get back here. Lakers front office is trash Jeff, sell his team. They're not going to sell the team, and the front office is probably here to stay. So while I understand their struggles and frustration, this is who this team is. This is the organization that this team is, and people can kick, scream, cry, shout, whatever you want to do. It's not going to change anything. It's not going to change a thing. Let's see. Gilbert, what's going on, my guy? What a long offseason. Facts. And shout out to you, Gilbert, for being a member as well. I appreciate you, my guy. Make sure to drop a like on the video, guys, if you haven't done so already. We greatly appreciate it, man. Subscribe to the channel if you have not done so already as well. You could also become a member to the channel. The first link in the description is a link to become a member to the show, to the channel. For less than the cost of lunch, you can become a member for an entire month. It's like doing one super chat a month that helps monetize the channel. Appreciate all the memberships. Appreciate all the super chats. Appreciate all the cash chats, which is also on the screen. $ Empire Jeff. So you can hit the cash app, you can hit the super chat, or you can hit the super thanks in the comment section on the replay, or you can also become a member. We greatly appreciate it. So like my guy Gilbert here in Vegas Dev, I saw in here earlier, man. Shout out to you guys for being members. I greatly appreciate y'all. But yeah, it's been a long off season, Gil, and there's no guarantee this is about to end anytime soon. There's no guarantee, man. Let's see. Shan says, I'm higher on Capella than I am with Robert Williams III. Get Bogey and Capella. He plays 65, 75 games. The last 4 seasons is a bruiser and average a double-double along with Bogey would be lit. I can see where you're coming from. I think we talked about this last time. I just can't see them. Well, it's kind of all that money on a secondary big. I just don't know if they're going to do that. And Bogey, like I said, he's better. I mean, he competes on defense, so he's definitely better because D'Lo doesn't really compete on defense. Austin Reeves has times where he'll compete, but he doesn't. He doesn't have the physical attributes or abilities there. But Bogey's money isn't terrible. I think he's like 16 something per. Yeah, so he's got 16 million this year, and I believe it's a club option the next year. So that's not disastrous. But like I said, Clint Capella at $22 million. Even I guess the positive on that is that it is a year less. 3 years less than Jerami Grant, $8 million less than Jerami Grant. So maybe there's something there where you can take, Bogey, whose salary goes backwards actually next year. So actually, I'm sorry, Bogey has 2 years and then a club option, but it goes 17, 16, and a $16 million club option in 26, 27. And, the Lakers probably want that money freed up by the end of 25, 26, which is where Bogey's club option doesn't have to be picked up. So that lines up in a timeline I think they're comfortable with, 17, and then Clint Capella 22. So you roughly get into about $39.5 million to get to them. It's only about $9 million more than what you'd have to get for Jerami Grant. It's 2 pieces. So I don't hate it. I just don't know if the Lakers want to pay a secondary big that much money. But then again, if you're going to pay someone like Jerami Grant $30 million if you trade for him, then it kind of takes everything off the table. So like it might erase that logic to where maybe they are open to that. I don't know if Atlanta's open to that. So I don't know what type of draft compensation Atlanta would want for that package, and I don't know if the Lakers would be interested in paying that price. Let's see. Then move D'Lo for DFS, and BK can flip D'Lo for TH Dave from Detroit. 3-team deal. It makes sense. I just, again, so if you're gonna move Bounce D'Lo twice, and then just to get him to Detroit, Detroit's probably gonna want something to take on that money, and I don't know if Brooklyn's gonna be in a position where they want to pay up to get him to take D'Lo after the fact. Let's see. I like both those guys, Tyrone. Like, I've been talking about Fultz all offseason. I don't know if like I said, I'm not talking about Fultz as a game changer or as a savior, but I think that kid's game is getting better and better every year. I think he's turned into a really solid pro. I've been rooting for him ever since that situation in Philly, and I've watched him a lot over the couple of years, and he's just steadily improved. He's a solid player, man. A lot of people don't watch the Magic. I get it. A lot of people don't watch him play, but he's had a very, very solid career since all that kind of went down, man. Shout out to everyone over on Twitter too, man. Over 150 people in the building on Twitter right now. So shout out to you guys, everyone over there on Twitter X. I appreciate y'all. YouTube be mad at me sometimes for not being on here every night. They punish me. A lot of people tell me they don't get my notifications because the algorithm gets upset when you don't when you take some breaks. But I've been enjoying my summer, man. A lot of time with family and friends, and like you guys know, I've been dealing with some. Also got a very, very sick loved one. So between that and enjoying, and other time spending time with family during the summer, haven't been on every night. So YouTube tends to punish you when you do that, but Twitter does it, man. So shout out to Twitter, man. I see y'all pulling up heavy over there, man. I appreciate y'all. Let's see. Rotation would be lit. You said Reeves, Bogey, DFS, Braun, AD. The bench could be Max, Dalton, Wood, and Clint. Getting a decent backup point guard is easier than getting a wing or a center. Yeah, getting a backup point would be definitely easier for sure. But getting a backup point that can play that point of attack defense is going to be tough, though. And Bronny, not in year one, Shan. Not in year one. Amount of people defending D'Lo was crazy after the first choke job versus Denver. Front office spent that year exit interview patting themselves on the back versus talking about getting better and not taking beer. Yeah. Thing with D'Lo is, see, the thing is, like, the Lakers probably only make the playoffs without D'Lo. Like, D'Lo had a phenomenal regular season, and it's just and you can't even really blame it on the Lakers or even Darvin Ham because he shot like 22% in Minnesota in the playoffs. He had that one pretty decent couple playoff games in Brooklyn before he got hurt. But outside of that, from the second he got to Minnesota and his 2 playoff years with the Lakers, he has not performed well in the playoffs. So it's kind of tough to really have any type of faith that he could get you where you need to go in the playoffs and be one of those guys. But if D'Lo is your 5th guy, then obviously expectations aren't as high on him. Or if you're a team like a Chicago or a team like a Brooklyn or a team that's not necessarily one of the 2-3 worst teams in the league, and you can get yourself in a play-in game or 2, get that extra revenue, and then still stay in the lottery. I think a team like that is a team you have to aim for with D'Lo. Because I think if you're looking for a playoff team, a team that's looking to win a round or 2, I think some of those guys are going to be weary of D'Lo because of, like I said, of how he played in Minnesota and how he played for the Lakers and come playoff time. I think those teams would be weary of him, and rightfully so. So it's going to be harder to send him to teams like that. So, and even if the Lakers start the season well with him, even if he comes in and he's averaging 20, he's shooting 43% from 3, he's playing well. In the back of their minds, and not just the teams, but the players' minds, they've got to start thinking, okay, this is great, but we know what's coming come playoff time. We know what's coming come playoff time, especially if we play Denver. And so, your teammates are probably already thinking that. The rest of the league is probably already thinking that. And your opponents are probably thinking that, right? So it comes to a point where you're like, okay, well, what can we do with this guy now? And that's where you run into some trouble. Shan says, I legit saw people saying D'Lo was better than Austin. Blasphemous. CeeLo, well, they're different, man. They're different. They're totally different. D'Lo's a better shooter. Reeves just seems to play better off of Braun and AD. They're different styles. I think the problem is those two just aren't a starting backcourt. The only way you kind of somewhat get away with it and a cheat code at times is with Vando. But even then, like there's times when Vando struggles and then those guys can't elevate themselves defensively to where you can afford to have him off the floor. So it's those two guys as a starting backcourt is it's pretty much the biggest problem the Lakers have. Even with the lack of like the bigs and the 3D wings, whatever it may be, they had some of those wings last year. Like the main problem for this Laker team has been a starting backcourt of D'Lo and Reeves. That's been their biggest problem. And until they address that, and I like both players. Like I think they both had, moments where they helped the team last year. But it's also the reason why you can't advance in the playoffs with those guys as your starting backcourt. Now, again, Lakers were an injured team. They had a very horrific overall staff. And it entirely the assistant coaches, like all the way around, that staff did not prepare for teams well, didn't scout teams well, didn't have their own team prepared well. So it's the entire staff, not just Darvin, the entire staff. And that's Darvin's fault for not picking a better staff. And that's the Lakers' fault for not ensuring that he did pick a better staff. But having said that, like D'Lo and Reeves, D'Lo, broke the Lakers franchise record for threes in a season. Like, I mean, he had a good year, shot 40% from three. But come playoff time, you just know you can't count on him right now. And if Austin Reeves is your third best player on a playoff team, then you're not going anywhere. You're just not going anywhere. What's going on, Max? Is this LeBron last season on the Lakers? I don't know. I don't know. I mean, he looks very good in the Olympics still. If he comes in and has a season anywhere near what he had last year, then he's probably going to continue playing. Like if he has a step back next year and, if LeBron comes out and plays another monster year next year, then I could see him opting out and doing another 1+1. Or opting out and willing to take the pay cut and see if the Lakers can add someone else. I think this will be a summer by summer thing. I really do. Robert, what's going on, my guy? He said, what's up, Jeff? Hope you good. Honestly, it seems the Lakers are fixed on getting him. They're going to get a deal done. Just seems like they're going to overpay. What's going on, Richard? I feel like this deal definitely has legs now. I do believe that. I'm not convinced they're going to overpay for him. That's a fair point, though. Because the only reason I say that, Richard, is I don't believe the Lakers feel they're backed in a corner. I feel that if the Lakers really was feeling the pressure or the heat and really felt like they had to do something, I feel they would have done it already. I feel they would have caved in already. The fact that they drew this line and they're holding that line leads me to believe they're not going to fold, because I just believe they would have already. So the fact that they haven't yet might mean they won't at all. And if they don't at all, then this may be the team they run back. And if they do kind of, I think they're willing to make moves. I think they're making calls. I think they're checking in. I think they're doing their due diligence, but they're just not liking what's coming back. Like, they're just not. And I'm telling you, Portland is feeling the same way, because if they had a deal they liked for Jerami Grant, they would have done it already. So you got all these teams out there communicating with each other, and no one is happy with what they're getting from each other. No one is happy. So as a result of that, you're not seeing any of these deals move. You're seeing all these available players, all these available free agents, trades that could still happen, throughout the season that teams are sitting on right now, because teams are just so terrified of getting to that second apron, or terrified of being above that first apron and not being able to make other moves down the line if someone becomes available. The worst, kind of the biggest secret in the league right now is teams knowing that other teams are going to panic at some point and offload players. And I think a lot of these teams are scared to not be in position to get players for pennies on the dollar when that happens. And I think that's why you're seeing teams get below that first apron even. Now, the Lakers aren't one of them. They're above that first, but they're not in that second. So as a result of that, they're still going to be able to do deals. But the Lakers, I think, are going to operate with that second apron as their hard cap. Like, I don't think they're going to live in that second apron. It just wouldn't make sense for them to do so. Let's see. Big Baby, what's going on, my guy? Appreciate you tuning in. Make sure to go subscribe to Big Baby Sports, man. Got a channel over there, does great work. Appreciate you, my guy. Thanks for tuning in. Said, bro, I don't know. Want no damn flipping rosters at the deadline no more. Please just do something before the season. I'm with you. You guys, you know, I've said this multiple times. Like, if this is the team we start the season with, I'm not going to be happy about it. But there's nothing I can do about it. You know, nothing I can do. So, not going to be happy about it. But I don't necessarily 100% believe that's the case. I don't believe that's the case. I think Rob knows that he has, you know, up until damn near Halloween to do something. And there's no sense in doing something now when something could still become available in the summer, later in the summer and early before the start of the season. And again, I think it's smart to not overpay for Jerami Grant. I think it's smart to not overpay for DFS. I think it's smart to not overpay for a Bruce Brown, to not overpay for a Cam Johnson. Like, none of these guys. I think it's smart to not overpay for those guys. So with that, I agree with them not, you know, giving up 2 first-round picks for guys like that. Like, they're our first-round pick for even some of those guys. Like, I agree with it. Not all the moves that they've passed on, but these ones I do agree with. LA Ballin', what's going on, my guy? Hope you're having a good one. Appreciate you tuning in as always, man. Let's see. What's going on, Dino? He said, with Rob's faith in Austin, he needs to be bashed. The only thing Darvin did right was bring him off the bench. Yeah, I like Austin off the bench personally. I do, because I feel he plays the same versus whether he's starting or coming off the bench. So I do like that, but they were kind of forced to put him back. And then he kind of had D'Lo off on the bench short amount of time, and it brought him back. So for me, for my money, I like Austin off the bench. I stand with you on that. I don't know if that's going to happen, but I would prefer him coming off the bench and getting. I would prefer a Max Christie in there for his defense to start. And anyone who's watched the channel long enough knows that I prefer someone like a Vando or someone like a Christie in the starting lineup, because I prefer someone who can guard the perimeter, or at least attempt to out there, because I feel that makes Braun and AD better defensively because they don't have to cheat as much. So I think having someone like Max out there last year with D'Lo as opposed to Reeves in the starting lineup, especially in games when you don't have Vando, it was essential. And the fact that they just never went to that baffled me all season long. And then it felt like, if my memory serves me right, I think I was at that game. They finally started giving Max some decent run. And I believe I was at the game. It was the Brooklyn game in LA, and Max got hurt in that game. And I feel like that kind of killed the chance that he had that season. Foolishly killed the chance, because Darvin should have given him another one. But I feel like he had got a chance right there, and then he got hurt. And it was kind of like Vando was on a tear, especially in that Boston game, and then got hurt. So it was like every time these guys like got their opportunity and was seizing it, something always happened. Like Rui was in and out from the first 2.5 months of the season. Would hit a stride, then had his shoulder, then he messed up his nose. Then it was all these things that every time he would start to get going, then he'd be out. 2 steps forward, 2 steps back. It kept happening. So that luck just continued to just hit them. And I definitely prefer Austin off the bench for sure. Let's see. Joe says Robert Williams is less healthy than Vandy. Yeah, that's been the thing. That's been the thing. And it's ever since he was trying to get back on that court after that injury in Boston, it just continued to have setback after setback. That's why I think this last year of him getting that extended time off, whether it's with the Lakers or anyone else, for his sake, maybe that gets him kind of back to where he can fully recover from something. Because I don't think Robert Williams was ever truly fully recovered from that first injury he had. Shan says, he's talking to her. Reeves is a starter. He just needs halfway decent point guard or shooting guard next to him, and he's good. He looked good on defense against the Nuggets. He just gets exploited because he has to play with D'Lo. That's a fair point too. My reason for preferring Austin off the bench is because you get the same player whether he's starting or coming off the bench. That's kind of my philosophy behind it. He doesn't change his approach. Where someone like D'Lo, if you're keeping him, he's not going to play the same off the bench. It just isn't going to happen. But I think that I'm one of those guys who believe that Austin improved defensively throughout the season, but not to a point where it's going to make an impact, a huge impact, or a big enough impact where it could lead to wins. But like I said, the effort was always there. He just doesn't have any the same physical attributes that some of these guys have. But I do feel that he improved. But again, it's those two cannot be in that backcourt together to start. It's just disastrous. No hope in this business, Jeffy Jeff. Come on, what's this? There's a lot of hope in this business, man. There's a lot of hope. You gotta hope your team stays healthy, right? You gotta hope you get some luck. There's a lot of hope in sports, man. You know, Joe, you've been watching this game and sports in general long enough to know that you got to be just as lucky as good. And with luck comes hope, my brother. Just point blank, period. And at this point, even if you think you don't have hope in this team, that's all we got is hope. That's all we got. Even if you don't got it, that's all we got. You know what I mean? So it is, there's definitely like hope. You got to hope guys stay healthy. You got to hope the ball bounces your way a time or two. You got to hope that you don't get a whole crew of ignorant refs for a good stretch of games. There's a lot of things you got to hope for in this league. And then hope that if those things do go right, that your team executes and takes advantage of it. He said, Rob Williams, 32, 29, 52, 61, 35, and 6. Yeah, I think I want to say like that 29. No, maybe that's 52. That 52 season was the one I think that he tried to come back too soon on. And then he played the 61 and the 35, and it kind of just went downhill after that. Because the 52 season was the one he tried to come back on, and I think it just really, he's been kind of downhill ever since that. Festo says, what up, Jeff? Salute. What up, Festo, man? Appreciate you tuning in, man. Thoughts on Melo Ball right now? I mean, someone like Melo Ball, like those guys, those good players on bad teams, those chuckers, chuck up shots. I don't know if Melo Ball is a winning player. I'm not saying he's not. I just don't know if he is. And Melo Ball's a guy, you get out there, let him have a team like Charlotte, let him play in a market with no pressure, get out there, let him do his thing. He's a hooper, like he could hoop, but does that translate to wins, right? Is he a winner? That remains to be seen to me. I think he's a talented guy. I think he's got a ton of talent. There's a lot of guys in this team, in this league with a ton of talent. But what will it lead to? Can he lead a team to the playoffs just by being on that team? Can he stay healthy? Because he's another guy that's always hurt. And the jury's still out on LaMelo Ball for me. Imagine if we got Lonzo back on a buyout deal. We cannot get Zoe back. So that's the thing. The Lakers are above the first apron. The Lakers cannot sign a buyout guy. So Zoe got bought out tomorrow and he wants to come back to LA. It'd have to be the Clippers, not the Lakers, because the Lakers are not in position to sign a buyout guy. I know a lot of people aren't mentioning that or talking about that, but it's CBA. They cannot sign a buyout guy as long as they are above the first apron. Let's see. Rob, what's going on, my brother? Thank you for tuning in. Appreciate you. Levine gets overhated. I don't have any hate for Levine. I think Levine, again, I think Levine is a hooper. I don't hate Levine. I hate that contract. I hate that contract because adding that contract as a third guy on this team where all of his production goes way down, but that dollar amount doesn't, all that money tied into one player when you need depth. Everyone has their philosophy of basketball. That's just mine. I don't think that you pay a third guy that much money because I don't see how when you got Braun and AD on your team and you don't have a bunch of guys you drafted over there that you can just sign and go way into that second apron like the Celtics did. It's really hard to build any type of team with a lineup of a roster like that. So if your third guy is $47 million and you got guys that you did not draft that you get for 4 to 5 years of decent money, and then you can sign them to extensions and all that stuff, it's really hard to make that work. Like Tatum, his extension doesn't even kick in until next summer. Brown's kicks in this year, his supermax. So like I said, they were able to build that team out because those guys were either drafted by them or they traded for guys that were still on deals that they had bird rights to. with guys that they drafted that they had bird rights to and flip those. So the Lakers, because they're constantly trading people and flipping people and bringing guys in on 1-year deals, 2-year deals, they never get any bird rights on guys that they could trade. So it's hard to build a team like that. So someone like Zach LaVine, you bring him in, then you got to basically just fill out your roster with minimums because you got to trade 80% of your team to get him. And then you still have Bron and AD and LaVine, and you can't even, and you got to fill in with minimum guys, and you're going to end up in the second apron with 3 guys and a bunch of minimums. So that's just, you don't want that Phoenix Sun situation when you got Lakers ownership. Like it doesn't make sense for them. Let's see. Craig Steven, what's going on, Craig? Let's see. So AD plays the 4, Lakers win chip. AD plays the 5, Lakers can't win a chip. AD plays the 4 for Team USA dominant and looking like a chip. When will the Lakers put AD back to the 4? Well, it's just not going to happen. AD is a 5 in today's NBA. AD is a 5. Sabonis plays the 5 in today's NBA. He's smaller than him. Most dudes who play the 5 now are former 4s. It's just the way the game is. And as long as you have LeBron James on this team, AD cannot play the 4. And while AD played, some 4 in 2020, the death lineup was AD at the 5. And the Lakers' separation, their point differential, everything skyrocketed with AD at the 5. That was the cheat code. They would start McGee or Howard for a few minutes, and then AD would predominantly play at the 5. And then there were like 2 whole series in 2020 where those guys, they sat them. They didn't even play or start those bigs until they got to Denver. So like the first 2 rounds of the playoffs, they kind of canceled the bigs outside of AD, and AD was the 5. So I'm not opposed to like having another big that helps coast through the season and lessens AD's minutes at the 5 throughout the season. But come playoff time, if you've got anyone other than AD at your 5, you're going to be in some serious trouble. So Bron can't play the 3. He can't guard 3s. I hear what you're saying. 2020, 4 years ago, was like a lifetime ago. The game continues to shift. And the years of AD at the 4, those days are just gone. They're just gone. Now I would still love a bruising big on this team, kind of a quote unquote traditional style big, but it remains to see if they're going to get one. But AD at the 5 for this, at the 4 for this team, I just don't think we'll see it again. Hepatitis, see you later. What's going on, my guy? Jeff, give me some hope about our Dodgers. It seems like Friedman is turning into Pelinka, but we can't say that. Hepatitis, see you later. The man spent $1 billion in the offseason, my guy. We're not doing this. We're not doing this. We're not letting Laker toxicity spill into Dodger Nation. We're not letting this happen. All right. They spent $1 billion in the offseason. All right. The guys are hurt. They filled in the depth. So when these guys come back, they got guys at the back end of the lineup. They've got defensive position guys. For considering what they're doing, like the amount of money they spend, we can't do this. We cannot do this. No, we can't do this. They got Ohtani. They got Yamamoto. They got Glasnow. They got Teoscar Hernandez. Like, no, we cannot do this. We cannot do this. I will not let this happen. All right. We're not doing this. We're not letting the craziness of Laker Nation spill into Dodger Nation. We're not letting this happen. All right. $1 billion. Good God. Come on. The Dodgers are going to be fine. The Dodgers just need to get their guys back. And the Dodgers, the guys on their injured list are better than anyone they could trade for. So when those guys come back, Mookie's coming back, Yamamoto's coming back. I don't know about Muncy. That's why they got, made kind of those deals they did today. And there's still time for them to do something. They still have until tomorrow. But, Flaherty, I think, is still a decent possibility. I don't think Crochet or Roberts is at this point, but heck, maybe the Dodgers empty the clip tomorrow and say, we'll do it. But at the end of the day, they have earned the right of the benefit of the doubt, as far as I'm concerned. Friedman and Pelinka are not in the same boat. They are not in the same lake, ocean, galaxy. They're not the same because Guggenheim is not the Bus family. So it is, they spent $1 billion. I don't know how they could be judged otherwise right now. Relying on injured guys hasn't worked the past 3 years. True, but we have not had Ohtani the past 3 years. Too, exactly. So we're gonna have to wait and see how that plays out. You can't just make trades to make trades, man. And like I said, Mookie was having an MVP season before he got hurt. Freddie's having somewhat of a down year, but I trust him come playoff time, obviously. So, Mookie coming back, Ohtani probably takes it to another level in the playoff time. And I think the Dodgers have the pieces. It's just the guys are hurt. And there's a lot of guys in Major League Baseball that are hurt. It just comes with the territory. The Yankees are out there destroying everyone. And they went on a stretch where they couldn't beat anyone as well. Baseball, you could have the best team in baseball and be humbled in a second. Bloodhound, what's going on, man? AD plays the 5 because LBJ can't play the 3 anymore. Yeah, that's a fact. That's what I was saying. In today's NBA, AD is a 5, and definitely on this team for sure, he's a 5. So it just is what it is. Bam's a 5 in this league. AD's a 5 in this league. Sabonis is a 5 in this league. A lot of these guys who are traditional 4s from back in the day, just the game is not played that way anymore. These guys are all 5s now, and just the way it is. Let's see here, but yeah, guys. On that note, I'm gonna go ahead and shut it down for the night. I appreciate you guys tuning in. Like I said, I'm not doing the nightly streams anymore right now because I'm enjoying the summer, spending some time with family. But I'm gonna do my best to drop a MLB trade deadline video tomorrow and catch up on that. Hopefully, the Dodgers make some additional moves, cover the ones they did today. I know I had some Dodger questions on the Lakers stream today. I answered them all, but we'll do a Dodger video tomorrow as well. So make sure to pull up for that. Huge turnout on Twitter tonight, man. 220 people in the building right now on Twitter. Shout out to you guys, man. Shout out to everyone over on YouTube as well. Drop a like on the video if you have not done so already. And make sure to subscribe to the channel if you have not done so already. And we greatly appreciate it. So thank y'all for tuning in. And like I said, I've been trying to get to these last 2. What's going on, D-Print? Hey, Jeff, what's up? Hope there's a team out there that will be willing to be a 3rd team. We can trade for Grant and Kessler. That's a huge upgrade. Yeah, that would be a definite upgrade. Craig says, predominantly playing our death lineup is our problem. If we never win a chip with AD at the 5, will you agree that? Yeah. No. I don't. Everything you said, Craig, was correct and spot on. I 100% agree. I guess I don't know if I did a good enough job of kind of explaining my point, but for this team, AD has to be the 5. Braun cannot play the 3. So that's just basically reality of what it is. Like post Braun, maybe you can go get a legitimate 5 and try to get away with AD at the 4 at 31, 32. But I agree with what you're saying. I'm just saying the logistics of this team kind of make it impossible for AD to play the 4 is what I'm saying. So appreciate you guys for tuning in. Like I said, y'all could be anywhere in the world, but you're here with me. I appreciate that. Drop a like on the video on the way out. Subscribe to the channel if you have not done so already. We'd appreciate it. We'll catch you talking some Dodgers tomorrow night. And shout out to all y'all, man. I appreciate y'all. Y'all stay safe. Appreciate you, Craig. I see you. Great having you guys in here. Thank you for all the questions. You guys know I do my best to answer all of them. And we may not always agree with everything, but we'll always keep it respectful over here. I will always respect your guys' opinions and comments, and we can have dialogue. You know what it is. Let's see. Well, they met with all of them, Shan. They were kind of filling everyone out. And once they realized they didn't have the pieces to get those deals done, they kind of pivoted to those other ones. It's kind of what happened. So on that note, guys, I'm gonna head out. Y'all be safe. Y'all have a great rest of your Monday. Y'all have a great Tuesday. And I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Appreciate y'all. Be safe.